Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to the Next Rank YouTube channel again with Johnny and Jack. Jackson free play, booming the ball around. Maybe going to give you some examples of things we're talking about in this one, which is the second edition of this. Well, actually, I don't know what edition it is. Long time, but it's the second in a row Q&A that we're doing. We didn't finish it the first time. We take too long to answer your guys' questions.
Way too long.
Hopefully you don't mind. But we're going to get straight into it with Mark Sussie's question.
What a name.
Great name, Mark Sussy. He says he's going to keep it simple. Top 5 mechanics you should use in Champ 3 to Grand Champ 1 at the moment. Well, first of all, that's not simple. That's a very complex question. But I get what you mean. It gets to the point. I like that you've got to the point there. But this will be a bit off the top of our head, so we've not sat here thinking about this one. But we might have to do that in a longer form video if you guys are interested. But okay, Jack, top 5 mechanics for Champ 3 is looking to make GC 1,
okay.
Or just that rank range.
I mean, five's actually quite a lot. Like, if you think about it, right? Like, if you can do, if you can do 5 different like intricate mechanics, or like, the issue is, right, when you get to like a high rank like Champ 3, GC 1 kind of thing, it becomes a lot about chaining things together, right? It becomes a lot about like recovery movements. So the one I always go to, I don't even know if I can give 5 but the one I always go to is I see so many players struggle to control their flip in various different ways in low GC. So for example, people always ask us like, how do you do this type of movement, right? The flip onto the wall, Johnny. That's just a variation of flip control and like certain flip cancels that can then be similarly used in the air to get these types of first touches that you can then follow up. So it's all about in my opinion, if you can get the speed flip control down in the air and not just on the ground, that gives you kind of a massive amount of other opportunities to use it in, if that makes sense. So it improves various parts of your game, which I think once you get to kind of GC, you're looking to do things that are improving multiple parts of your game at once. So yeah, the number one thing I'd always say is flip control, specifically on kind of like first touches like that, where you want to keep it kind of close to you. You want to keep your car in a good enough position to follow up for a reset, follow up for a second touch, whereas a lot of people in GC, which is very natural, when they get into this position, every time they'll have to do something like that and hit the ball into the crossbar, which is what I like to do. They have to do something like that, which is fine, and you can do that and get a ton of goals off those hard double taps really quick, but sometimes you need to keep that ball close with the same flip, but different types of speeds of how you go through it to keep the ball more controlled or further away from you, if that makes sense.
All right, guys, another one in that same line of thinking where you're looking for quick recoveries, like Jack mentioned. When you start to play against more coordinated defenses, you need to recover quickly and get the ball again if you're trying to go for a 1v2 play. If you flick the ball past one player, what will often happen is the second player will just get the ball, and then you've given it away. You flicked past one, the other guy booms it, which puts your team in trouble. So one way you can avoid this, it's a really, I think, easy mechanic that a lot of people don't do, is flicking it into the sidewall with a side flip and then really quickly getting back to it and flicking it again. And the reason this works is because you're recovering faster on the sidewall than you would if you were just in the midfield flicking on the ground. Because your car only has to rotate 270 degrees to land, and then you can straight away flip again. So that second flip sometimes comes faster than the defense is ready for, and the second challenge will move in thinking, okay, my ball, because they just play their normal challenge timing. And then you beat them to it, you're past both of the opponents. So this one will be very easy for players in Champ 3/GC1 rank to do, but nobody does this. Well, maybe not nobody, very few people do this. They go to the midfield to try and flick, but if you're trying to flick in this kind of rank range or anything against more organized defenses, it's better to do it near the wall instead of in the midfield like Jack's demonstrating now. Yeah,
definitely. I like that one a lot. I want to add quickly another small thing. If you have to flick in the midfield, so many people are concerned about getting the flick to net straight away. Now I know we're talking about mechanics here, but this is mechanics and how you do the mechanic, or where you're going to do the mechanic. They're very closely linked, Johnny. So a lot of people in the midfield, when they flick and there's 2 defenders back, they just flick like that, right? They try and get it to net, and that's good sometimes. But if you're trying to 1v2 them, you need to create an angle, specifically side flips, side flip flicks, or side Yeah, side flip flicks are best to do that because it creates an angle. I think it's quicker to recover. You seem to get to the ball faster. It keeps the flick fairly low, so you can get to it quickly after beating the first guy before the second guy can get in. And yeah, so if you have to do it in the midfield, you need to create an angle first before you try and flick, because else the second defender is just going to have an easy time. But yeah, definitely, I do like this one a lot. Flicking to places where you can recover quicker, that's definitely gonna give you a huge advantage. I think, Johnny, a lot of the things when you get to this rank are the mechanics that can make you quicker around the pitch are going to be the most important.
Yeah, I agree. I think recoveries are massive in twos, like especially
as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, just like anything it can get you. Like you started off this whole section saying that, you know, chaining things together. This is all in the same theme. We're trying to put moves together. We're trying to do one thing and then another thing really quickly afterwards. But I want to throw in maybe an even, well, is it easier? Well, you can give your opinion on this. Another easy one, because easy mechanics are very good to learn. And so this is like, so it is a mechanic, but it's also a strategy as well, and that's the low 50s, because again, not enough people do this. So you can abuse this mechanic in the, you know, high champ, low GC ranks, because not many people are expecting it. And this will go really well with your flick game. If you already have flicked the ball past someone in the game, players will inherently remember that. Next time you're dribbling, they're gonna go. They're gonna hedge a little bit higher on their challenge. You low 50, profit. And yeah, low 50s are really, really good in any rank, but especially in this kind of rank where players, like we keep talking about, are starting to move a bit faster. They're starting to defend more as a unit. They're starting to try and read the game immediately. And if you can low 50 the ball, you don't even need to recover. You're already recovered. So you know, if there's a play that you can get the ball past one player with, and then get another 50-50 or another outplay on another guy, it would be the low 50.
I agree. Yeah, I like that one a lot. I'm going to throw in a quick one because I do think the first couple we gave, they're not like, well, actually, your one is easy to do, the flicking against the wall. That's easier than it looks almost, and it gives you huge rewards. I think the first one that we gave on this, like the B flip in the air, the control of your flip, is quite broad and it can be difficult. One thing that is really easy to do, Johnny, that a lot of players in this rank will already know how to do, I think it's ceiling shots, because the amount of people that once they get to GC1, for example, every player, Johnny, every player is...
Jump 3 as well,
every player is off the wall, and they try and get a reset, and it's never like that. It's never, you know, as good as that, like if I can say so myself. It's never that good.
It's like 1 in 10 maybe. There will be the occasional good, like, air dribble, but yeah, I agree.
Most of the time it'll just be like this. It'll be, I don't even know how to show it, like that or something.
You can't, the reason you can't show it accurately is because you've got unlimited boosts on. If you turn up unlimited boost, what happens in this rank when players try to air dribble off the wall is they, you know, get back to the ball, use 100 of their boost, then they get the reset and flip it under the ball and do nothing with it, and then they're completely boost starved out of the game, giving the ball away. I'm totally with you. I think that it's not wrong to practice this, but having it as your only move to go for in the air is just not a good idea, and it's what the majority of players are trying to work on and main in this kind of rank, instead of just playing for the ceiling shot, which is easier, just as effective.
Honestly,
same concept.
more
You've got your flip.
Johnny.
Yeah, it's faster. You get your flip immediately. You're higher, so it's harder to challenge you with a low boost aerial. I totally agree. Ceiling shots are underrated.
Okay, and the last one that we're going to give, this is a very basic one. And you can really say this for every single rank, but just the ability to hit the ball extremely hard wherever it is on the pitch. So being able to create power from any angle, it is extremely important. And you might think, well, like when you rank up, I think people might forget. They almost forget how to do it, Johnny, or forget that they should still do it sometimes. Should just smack the ball sometimes. They stop practicing it, so their hits get flimsy. I think a lot of players...
yeah, they do.
I think a lot of players... like hits were more powerful at ranks when they were lower ranked, because they were doing it more often. Now when they get higher ranked, they try and control every single ball. They don't add any variety. Every single ball, every single touch is trying to keep it close and stuff, and you do get worse at things that you don't practice. So I'm going to throw it in there, even if it is a very basic thing that I say people should learn from goals. but the ability to just hit the ball extremely hard at whatever angle it comes at you, that's the fifth most important mechanic I'd give between Champ 3 and GC1.
So we had the speed flips in the air, side flip flicking, booming the ball was the last one at the end here, low 50s. And what was your other one again? I've blanked on the fourth one. It was also in the ceiling shots. So there's your 5 mechanics. If you're Champ 3, you want to get Grand Champ for the first time, work on those. You should, I think, be pretty. That's a great repertoire to focus on. But okay, let's move on to the next question from Jill or Gil. I'm not sure. We'll say Jill. He says, how do you actually implement strategy videos? Because we've got lots of strategy videos in the Next Rank course. He says there's quite a lot of them. I feel like I watch the videos attentively, but then I just hope I will remember them in game. He's got another question after, but let's do that one first. So how to implement the strategy videos? How do you implement strategies in general, Jack, when you're trying to add them to your gameplay?
It's an interesting question. I think for me, I've never struggled with that, so it's going to be a little tough for me to give like great advice on it. For me, whenever I watch videos about ranking up in Rock League, if I went into game, I might not do it perfectly, but I would have somewhat of an understanding of what I was trying to do. I think sometimes people overcomplicate it, Johnny. I think they think of too many things at once almost. They watch X amount of strategy videos and then try to implement them all at one time. If that's the case, I mean, that's a very simple example of overcomplicating things. You want to keep it very simple. You need to only think of, let's say, one strategy thing whenever you go into a gameplay session. One strategy thing that you're not good at right now that you clearly see in your game, and it's going wrong, it's losing you games, and you need to fix it. You want to keep the things in the back of your mind, but not stress about them. And I know that's like, it's not really advice because that's very easy to say. But for me, that's all that I guess I had to do. And over time, I would recognize my mistakes from watching replays or from watching goals after they happened or in the moment. I was very good at kind of recognizing that mistake. And you just have to, I guess, be conscious of how you're playing. It's a weird one. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've got a video in our free course. If you want to find the link to that, it's in the description. TNR free. We've got a video on quarter pitch spacing, which is one of our favorite strategies that we tell people about. It's why we put it in our free course. We want everybody to know about that one in particular. But if you take a look at this and then try to implement it, it's not something you think about all the time.
No.
You don't calculate with a ruler when you go about the pitch. Oh, I'm too close. Oh, I'm too far. Oh, I need to go closer. No, it's more just something that you're aware of now, and then you try to just be subconsciously aware of it almost, because the Rocket League's a game where you don't really want to be thinking. You don't want to be overthinking. Then you're hesitating. Hesitating is really bad. It's the worst thing you can do. So you don't want to be thinking like, oh, am I too close? Am I too far? Am I implementing this strategy correctly? Just watch the video and then identify whether or not that's something you do by watching replays and realize like, oh, in this replay I was not in a quarter pitch away, couldn't react to what happened, I was too close. In this situation I'm way too far, my teammate forced for me, I wasn't there. Now you know that this is a problem that you have in your gameplay, and then you go into your next game and you should automatically be able to make less of those mistakes, not because now you're thinking about it all the time, it's just because you've become aware of it. And you're just naturally going to end up in better positions, if that makes sense.
I think, I agree with you. I think some people, like, it takes time to get better at things, right? Like, it's really not instant, and it isn't for anyone. At certain parts, when you go through your like journey of playing, at certain parts it will be instant. There'll be a couple things where you just get it, right? You get it. You implement it straight away, or there'll be a brief period of time where you're just doing everything right, and you go up 50 MMR, right? And you stay there. That's your new rank, right? You don't drop then. You can't stay there. Everyone has those certain moments, but it comes at different times. And pros, who are pros now, who went through the ranks previously, it's no different. For example, I remember getting stuck in Champ 1, Johnny, for a long time. And I think I breezed through Champ 2, but then I got stuck in Champ 3. I got stuck, absolutely stuck for what felt like ever. And I think it's very easy to stress too much and to think something is going wrong rather than it just being the natural pattern of learning something new or learning multiple things new at a time. I think the last thing I'll say on this is learning strategy is no different to me than learning mechanics, right? And learning anything else in this game. You just keep doing it. You know, in terms of mechanics, you're just going to keep doing it in free play. Keep looking at the mistakes that are happening, trying to correct the small mistakes. And over time, you get good at a certain mechanic, you move on to a different mechanic. You bring that up to your level, and then all of a sudden, you're at a new level. That mechanic that you worked on previously is now below. So you need to bring that up, and then that up. And it's just it's kind of a ladder. It's the same thing with strategy. You just have to keep thinking about it over and over again when you're playing, when you're not playing, watching videos on it, looking out for it when you're watching other players. You should be analyzing everyone you watch in the game if you're truly wanting to get better. If you're watching a pro player, what are they doing right? What are they doing wrong? Why is this pro better than this other pro in terms of their decision making? Why is this player in Champ 1 better than me right now? Because I've only just gotten to Champ 1. They've been here for a while. What are they doing differently that I haven't been? What can I pick up for them? I don't know. That's my answer to that question. I don't know if it helps, but that's all I did, and I guess that's all I can say.
Well, speaking of watching pros, watching high-level players,
that does help.
Jill does go on to say that, what do you guys think about SSL/GC, Road to SSL/GC playlists on YouTube? He thinks they're a fun way to learn, but how do you implement where you're watching? Well, it's more of the same of what we've been talking about, so nothing really new there. What do I think about Road to SSL/GC playlist? I'll be honest, I haven't watched one in years. I think I might have watched one in my first or maybe second year of playing the game, but since then I've maybe watched just a couple of minutes here or there when I'm bored, and I click on a video that gets recommended to me, then I turn it off again. I don't think that they are there's probably some good ones out there, but I'm the wrong person to ask. I've not seen enough of them recently. However, a lot of them I know do say things like, you know, ranking up with no mechs, and then they just go and hit every ball to absolute perfection. Like every clear is a boomer, every shot is pixel perfect. And yeah, while that's not mechanical in the flashy sense, it is mechanical in the precision and the timing of the hits on the ball. So yeah, you can maybe learn stuff from those, but I think you also want to look, like Jack said, at your own games to see what is really going on, because Road to Road to SSL, Road to GC is not usually a very good representation of what really happens in games. It's just one player who's way better than everybody else, like easily winning and making it look easy. Yeah, not mechanical, but it is in another way.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I have a slightly more like positive view on it. But I do.
Have you got one? Do you do one? I don't know if you do.
No, I don't. Me and Rettles did a series where we played on
you guys did,
one keyboard, right? So so our mechanics were not good, and people genuinely, I had so many people over the years say how much they improved from watching us play, because it helped them.
That's actually not mechanical. Yeah, it's actually not, you guys were. That's a good example of like actual not mechanics.
Yeah, we were playing on pure game sense, and it does help to understand how. And I say this with obviously not actually meaning it in terms of like the players are bad, but there is obviously a skill level, a massive gap in the difference between mine and Rettles thinking about the game and the Champ 1 players we were playing, right? In terms of intelligence, their mechanics were better than ours on the keyboard, but our intelligence was levels above, and I think it helped people understand how easy it is to outsmart the players with certain things, just simple things as well. Like the most simple thing that people learnt from the series was what we called an S chow, because obviously we were on keyboard, so an S is
S on the keyboard,
S is break. So when you're rolling the ball at your opponent and they're behind the ball, you just stop, because they can't see that you've stopped. They're gonna flip it into you. You get a touch over them, and it's like, and no champ player would, or very few champ players would think that is an effective move, but that works from the beginning of when you play the game right until your last match that you ever play the game. That will always work in certain moments. So I think people understand that. you have to be very careful with watching those series because, like Johnny said, not only is it the power that they can hit the ball at very consistently, what isn't spoken about that people, that very high-level players have from thousands of hours of playing this game is simple things like being able to understand depth perception of their opponent, to how close they are to a ball. So if I'm here, right, and my opponent just grabbed this mid boost, like a second ago when I was back there, I know that they can't challenge me, or I know that they can in about 0.75 seconds, let's say, right? But that timing is already in my head. So the players that you're watching already have that timing. You have to be very careful with how you see that, because you're not going to see it the exact same. So just think about that. But it can be very useful to understand where you should hit the ball in certain moments, how you should hit it, what you should be scared about. I think what it is as well, Johnny, is that people find them useful because I do genuinely think that people don't give themselves enough credit. So, and they're smarter than they think. When watching these series, when it gets to their rank, they all of a sudden start looking at the mistakes that the opponents are making in the video, and they start thinking about what they can do, and they can do it instantly. Well, they already had that skill. Some people just have to have the confidence that they already had that skill, and that they could have done it already. Maybe they just needed a small push. Whereas if they watch pro games, they go, that will never work in my games. My games are too low level. So they don't even think about what they could take from these pro games. Does that make sense? Like they don't even question whether it would work in their rank because they're like, no, it's just a different world. I promise you it's not. Like, yes, pros are better. There are a lot of things that would work in your lobbies that pros are doing that are very simple that you can implement. You just have to keep an eye out for it and truly think about it and question things when you're watching gameplay.
All right, the next question here is staying on the topic of pros from Pam. He says, do you think RLCS players are good because of talent, hard work, or both? I think, both is obviously the answer here, but the question is how much? So, Jack, how much do you think it is because of talent? How much is because of hard work?
Yeah. Question is obviously impossible to answer. Like, I can't give a percentage, right? Like, no one can. It's an impossible thing to measure, but pros have a lot of talent, but they also have worked very hard to get there. So I don't know, Johnny.
Good answer.
I don't know. Look, I've said absolutely nothing there. Like they clearly have a lot of talent because without sounding like I don't know. I was always confident that when I was in champ, for example, we just have huge egos. I'm not gonna lie. Like even if I wasn't,
we have big egos. Yeah,
we have huge ego. We have massive amounts of confidence, and I think that's what it is. Like when I was in champ, I genuinely thought I could go pro if I wanted to. In the end, I was like, I just have a better understanding of the game than players higher ranked than me. And I never said it. I just thought it. I truly believed it. And I was never toxic from it either. Like I was never like, there's a difference between having confidence and like just being, an idiot and ranked and quick chance stuff. I'm sure I did at times, but probably not too much. And but you just know. And I don't know how to explain it. Like there's clearly levels of talent in the game, but would I be saying all this if I never went pro? And there was a huge possibility that I never went pro. So I don't know. I don't know how to answer this question, Johnny. I think that you have to work hard, but you also have to have the confidence in yourself. And I think that it's very easy to confuse the difference between confidence and talent when I actually think that they could be very closely linked, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely both. I mean, we've seen some of the champ gameplay that Jack's talking about where he knew he could go pro, allegedly, and I don't know where he got that idea.
No, because I was different. No, actually, no. I think that proves it. Dude, the decisions I was making in champ, Jack,
in his rank career is 0-1 against me, so I don't know where he got the idea.
That is true, and it was in champ 2 when I lost to you, but...
Yeah.
I said I breezed through
champ 3 that you allegedly breezed through.
Maybe
so I guess you breezed through, except for that one game. You had it to me.
Yeah, that was the only game I lost in champ 2, I think.
Killed the win streak. Anyway, no, on the hard work or talent, I think it's talent. I think it's talent because like number one,
it's
I don't
mindset.
think Rocket League pros work that hard. I think they work hard a little bit. I don't think they work that hard though. I think Rocket League's quite neat. Like being a pro is harder on the mental than it is on the actual work done. So I think that probably for me it would be a combination of talent and the mental side that Jack's talking about is the main things, like the having that delusional ego that you're better than everyone, but not having that manifest in a toxic way
and not
is
too
quite
much.
rare.
Yeah,
because a lot of people have that, but it's a toxic way. They manifest it in, let it manifest, and then they just become a, you know, they become one of those players who thinks that they're in ELO hell, but they're not. They're just the problem. But to have that like confidence, the almost delusional level of confidence, you're champ 2 and you think I'm going to be pro one day, and then you actually are. That's because of this rare combination of having that confidence, the belief that you can win and you will win and you're going to succeed, and not having it be toxic to your teammates or to your grind. I think that's what's rare.
Yeah, you have to have the confidence, but also the self-awareness of how bad you are at the same time. But also like you don't want to go then too far to that point where you think you're terrible, because then you lose confidence. So
you lose confidence.
It's a massive balancing act, right? Like you have to balance all these kind of different traits, I guess, or things that you're thinking about. My final thing on this question is that, like, I don't think it matters what it truly is about, because I think that it's whatever you believe it is. So if you believe it's down to your hard work and it forces you to work harder, and then you have the confidence in what you're doing is correct, I think that's going to give you a higher chance of it working out than if you believe it is all about talent, and then you go, no matter how hard I work, it's never going to work out. Because then you're just not going to have the confidence or faith in what you're doing is correct. You're going to overthink things. You're going to, it's not going to be consistent, and you're going to stop playing at certain points. It's going to be a mess. So I would, even though like it's hard, I would try to just be careful with how you think about the question, but then on the flip side, you could think it's all about talent, and you could go, I'm the most talented player of all time, and then it could work out. I think it's all about what you believe in. I truly believe that. I think it's all a mindset thing.
You know what's interesting is that the difference in like discourse between talent and hard work in esports, or at least in Rocket League, compared to actual sports, because we all know an athlete in real life sports who's so talented, just has all the natural ability in the world, because sometimes it's associated with their physical build, or what they're able to do with their body, and then you look at how little work they're putting in, and it's annoying. You're like, that is just so annoying that somebody would get so lucky, genetic lottery, talent lottery, they've won both, and they don't put the work in, and they're just never going to achieve what they're capable of, and people get really upset about that. I think rightfully so in some cases, although in others it might go too far. Whereas in Rocket League and in gaming, it's almost cringe to try when the other team in ranked are trying to use everything at their disposal to win. Kickoff strats, bumps, demos. Everybody's like, whoa, you're sweating. That's cringe. I'm not sweating. I'm not even trying. In fact, I've never tried. I'm so cool that I've never tried. I'm here purely based on my talent, and not because of my work at all.
No, I get what you mean.
It's interesting that everybody's tilted at that in gaming. Okay, next question is from James Brown Fan 91. He says, at what rank should I transfer my focus from ground game to aerial game? And we're going to assume that we're talking about 2v2 here, because it is the most popular game mode, and the one that most people are thinking about that as a topic, ground game versus aerial game. But do you think there is a rank where you need to shift your focus? He does say focus, not like complete playstyle.
Yeah, I wouldn't say there is a like specific rank, but I do get the question as well at the same time, if that makes sense. So I mean, you have to, I would say champ is when things usually start becoming more like you have to know how to do certain things in the air to kind of get through it, or you don't have to, but you should, kind of thing. I think before then you can just really like stay grounded and it'll work, and I still think you can in champ, but I just think you will fall behind mechanically if you get out of there and then get to GC like by being really ground focused. You can always be ground focused, but you just have to still be optimal, I would say, in the air. That you never want to be too far behind. I don't know if you agree, Johnny, but I would say it's worse being really far behind in the air than it is on the ground. But
I agree.
I don't know. Maybe that's. I just think Rocket League is going in a direction where things are like obviously people are becoming more controlled, and you do see this happen as well through the ranks. Like it kind of progresses downwards. Like if it happens at pro level, it'll always happen through the ranks as well, or vice versa. There's still, and I think that players are becoming more controlled, more threatening in the air. So you need to keep up to an extent. But I would say champ to answer the question. I would try to avoid having it be like once I get to champ, I have to do everything in the air, you know, because then you just fall into being stupid as a player, right? You would just be making bad decisions, kind of thing. So it's a strange question, but I get where it's coming from, and yeah, champ would be the place where if I had to answer that question, I would say yeah.
Well, that's where you probably have one aerial related thing that you're working on at all times, whether it's, you know, just being faster with your aerials or your rebounds, for example, just getting to the ball quicker without having to wait and see where it goes, or if you're just trying to challenge faster in the air every time, so you realize you're getting dusted constantly, or if it's like we talked about earlier, ceiling shots, you want to start adding ceiling shots to your game. Whatever it is, there's usually going to be something when you reach champ that you're working on at all times. Like you will now just have something in the air that you're working on. Doesn't mean that everything is going to be aerial based, like Jack said. You're still going to be looking to implement strats and add maybe some other trick to your ground game as well. But from that point onwards, I agree. You'll always have something in the air that you're looking to add.
Yeah, I like that way of like thinking about the question or phrasing the answer of it being from now on at champ there's always something that you're going to be focused on the air, because I don't think you have that really at down the below. They'll be like you should be like aerialing or learning how to aerial and fast air and stuff, but champ is when you're truly gonna start learning the aerial mechanics and stuff. I like that.
You're not really held back. You pointed out you're not really gonna be too far behind as long as you're doing certain key elements well. And those are the aerial challenges are absolutely fundamental if you want to make it through champ into grand champ and beyond. You do need to know how to challenge opponents' aerials fast and successfully. So that's probably the most important thing. If you're not going to use aerials in your offense, they're mandatory in defense. Other players are going to use aerials in their offense, so you need to know how to defend them. And I mean, just being fast in general.
Just getting up in a straight line, like
getting up in a straight line quickly. If the ball's open to some players who can just get up quickly and score it, then you should be looking to make it an open net for you as well. If you're just one of those players who takes longer to get into the air because your mechanics of fast aerialing aren't refined yet, or you just are waiting forever to see where the ball actually goes before you jump, then you're probably too slow, and that's going to definitely hinder you when you try to play in higher rated lobbies. Okay, next one's from Sharpies. He says, how do I break the habit of playing scared and defensively in 2v2?
Ooh, okay. I think I don't know. I mean, because if you don't, you will lose. I guess it's the like that's always the mindset that I had though. If I play scared, or if I don't want to play scared, I know it's because I know how to do it, and it's because if I don't, the outcome is going to be the exact same that I'm worried about. Like, you're worried about losing, right? If you play scared, you're worried about losing. So first off, you actually should try and change your mindset to when you're playing, you're not worried about losing, you're worried about not improving. I think that's most important, because then all of a sudden you're now thinking about, well, how do you improve rather than how do you win? There's obviously should be a balance. You should still be trying to win the games, but it's a small change in what your aim is, I guess. And I think that can help with understanding that there's a bigger picture rather than the current game that you're in, if that makes sense. Like, in 5 games time, how can I help myself now when I'm in a game in 5 games time? I've explained that really badly, but how can I improve in the next 5 minutes, basically, that I'm going to benefit in about 30 minutes time? And I think that's important to think about, rather than just being so focused on the present that you're so concerned about what happens in this game. That makes sense? I think that is truly how I would go about it, which I don't know if that's a good answer, but that's genuinely how I thought when I think now, and when I think at all times playing Rocket League, like I remember, I would always be focused on the improvement aspect rather than just winning the game, because that's what was fun to me, and that's what I got enjoyment out of. And the other point that I had earlier, well, regardless of if you're just focused on the winning, well, you're not going to win by playing scared, right? So you're actually you're pushing yourself towards a place where you don't want to be. So it's counterintuitive, I guess. I don't know. You have to have the confidence that you decide whether you're scared of something or not. Like, I do think that confidence is a decision, if that makes sense. Like, you can choose to be confident. You can choose to fake confidence as well. And the difference between faking confidence and being confident is
it's practice.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Yeah. It's not much. It's just about
if you fake it long enough, it becomes real.
Again. Yeah. So that's what I would say to that. It doesn't really help, I guess, but it helped me. I don't know. Yeah.
I think it does help. I mean, you've got to, if you're trying to make a playstyle adjustment, which it sounds like is the intention here, then you probably will need to fake it in a sense for a while. And what that looks like in Rocket League is just going for challenges that you think won't work a lot of the time. So you think, well, I'm probably getting outplayed here, but I'm just going to challenge anyway. Yeah. And then you realize, oh, not only have I successfly challenged, I've scored. It's just in their net because they didn't expect me to challenge there. Interesting. Okay, so I can challenge there. Or you come in for a 1v3 or a 1v2 diving challenges, last man. Because if you think of the contrary, if you think about the alternative, like Jack said, well, the alternative is not great either. If you're in a 1v2 or a 1v3 in Rocket League, you're probably getting scored on a lot of the time if you play defensively. If you just wait on your net and run away, fake challenge, they're probably just going to bump you, demo you, or outplay you, and then somebody's going to score an open net.
Yeah.
In a lot of those cases, it's just a higher percentage play to dive, to just go, because one, they don't expect it. They don't expect you to do that when you're in a weak position. But two, because the alternative is also really bad. So why not just challenge? At least then there's some upside. If you don't challenge, there's no upside. You're literally just waiting for your teammates to get back in some positions. But if you challenge, you might, one, realize, oh, I can challenge there. Didn't realize that before. And two, you might just end up in a, maybe I won't say a good scenario, but a less bad scenario by just full sending it on the challenge.
Definitely.
And not being defensive. It also gives you control. If you're one of those defensive playstyle players, that's fine. But I think some players to overdo it, and they just play really defensively. And now you're just at the mercy of whether or not the other team are playing well. If the other team playing well, you lose. And if the other team play badly, you win. That doesn't sound, I don't know, to me that doesn't sound too fun. I think it's better to have more of an impact on the game, more of an influence on the outcome.
I agree with that. I think the last thing I'll say is that we're worried about losing like 10 MMR, right, for the loss. Okay, so like, but think about how many games you just get absolutely handed to you from. You score a kickoff goal in the first minute of the game or so. You score a couple kickoff goals, and then your opponents get mad at each other and they stop playing or something. Like absolutely stupid like that. The amount of games that you just get absolutely handed to you without really having to do too much. So if you're worried about like the loss from one game, from one result or whatnot, you're gonna get handed to you at some point in the very, very near future anyway. So I wouldn't worry too much about the short-term MMR differences rather than the overall goal. I mean, but don't take it the absolute wrong way and then go like, oh, you just dropped 200 MR and you're happy because you think you're improving. I mean, dropping 200 MR is drastic, right? So keep it like don't be worried about dropping a little amounts of MR here and there, if that makes sense.
Okay, let's do one more question for this video. We've somehow managed to turn this into another 40+ minute video. We've still got a bunch of other questions to go, so if you guys like this kind of content, we can make another one because we have more questions. So shout out to the members for giving us these questions that are clearly good enough to create this kind of discussion. Last one for this video is from Cuba Soup. He says, hypothetically, you have 2 hours to play Rocket League. How do you spend it to improve? Alternatively, how do you spend it to have fun? I'm guessing he means per day, like 2 hours per day to play Rocket League, not just 2 hours in total, because there's only so much you can do in 2 hours in total. But 2 hours per day, first of all, to improve, and then we'll talk about 2 hours per day to have fun. So for improving, Jack, what's the routine that you would go for yourself if you got teleported back in time?
I mean, a lot of days, like I genuinely did only have 2 hours. It's not it's not an impossible thing to improve. I mean, that's quite a lot of time, I think, like genuinely, if you're just going through the ranks. I've always been a big fan of free play, right? So like I would always get a good warm up in for, let's say if I had 2 hours, I'd probably do a 20-minute warm up to make sure that I feel good in ranked. So what would I do in free play? I keep it very simple. I mean, I practiced what I was good at, which was, at the time, flicks. I was very, very good at flicking. Most of my focus was kind of ground game. I'm not very good at flicks anymore, as you can tell by the post bounce, but I would just go into free play. Jesus Christ, John, I've just hit 2 in a row. I'd go into free play and just try and flick the ball to the top corner over and over again for a few times, because that's what I wanted to do. You have to be confident in what you're good at and what your main thing that you're good at is, because that's how you're going to win games. I would practice hitting the ball extremely hard and trying to get to every single ball as fast as I can, going around the pitch, because that practices just your speed, your recovery, your contact on the ball. All these things are extremely important to ranking up in, let's say, 2s, for example, 3s. And what else would I practice? I would sometimes do a little bit of practice on the thing that I was trying to work on. Right, I would always have something that I was trying to work on in free play in games, whether that's stealing shots or a very specific thing, maybe low 50s and stuff like that. I would practice, these things in free play in the game. When I get into the game, into ranked, sorry, what would I play? I think I played more 1s than 2s in a lot of the ranked seasons, Johnny, when I was ranking up, but it's really what you guys prefer. I do think 1s is the best game mode to improve in, but I also do think there's a very, very huge invisible factor of, like, you improve with whatever you're having the most fun with, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I think you have to keep that in mind. Like, if you absolutely hate 1s, you cannot force yourself to like it. I don't know if it's going to help you, because you're not going to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And even if it like did help you, well, you're not enjoying yourself anyway. So what's the point, right? So like, I would be very careful with like sticking to someone else's routine. You need to figure out what you like. But for me, it was 1s. I would queue a ton of 1s, maybe for like an hour, and I'd probably play about 30 minutes of 2s as well. But I didn't keep it rigid. It was whatever I felt like on the day, right? And I think that a lot of people have to give themselves that flexibility and space for themselves to breathe and not feel like they're in a fixed schedule. Like it's not like they're in a job or something where they have to do this and this and this every time, right? And I think that is important, because Rocket League is an extremely creative game. You have to give yourself that ability to think and not be boxed up, I guess, in a routine. So I would focus on 1s. If you wanted to listen to my advice, I'd majorly focus on 1s. Play a bit of 2s and free play. Rocket League's not a complicated game, Johnny. It's about what you make of it, right? You can do that and not get a ton out of it, and I can do it and be thinking about what I'm trying to improve day to day, minute to minute. What am I trying to improve? It's really about your ability to focus in that 2 hours, because you can get more in 2 hours than another person getting 7, because they're just playing, they're in a call with friends, which is fine as well if you want to do that, but they're not focused, they're just having fun, and they're not going to improve as much as you as long as you're focused and you're trying to improve a specific thing every single day. Your rank might go down, but if you come out of it and think that you've actually made a small kind of improvement on a certain aspect, then that's a positive and you've done well for the day. That's what I would genuinely think of every single time. And I was addicted to that path.
You found what you liked, yeah. You found your like routine that would keep you playing and keep you improving.
Yeah.
So it's a personal thing.
I was lucky because I found fun. The most fun I find out of anything, in not even just Rocket League, just anything, is improving. That's what I find most fun about anything. So that's a very lucky trait to have. Not everyone kind of is lucky enough to have it. So you have to find what you find most fun. And if it's purely improving, well, then you can.
Good luck.
Yeah, they're great. You can just grind 1s because that's what you know is going to improve you the most.
Yeah, and so I mean, for you, the answer is the same then for the fun and the for the improving.
Well,
but
I can't. Yeah.
For other people who don't just want to improve, I mean, obviously the whole point of this channel and the course is to help you improve your game. So there is going to be, I'm sure, part of that in most of you guys watching. But if you're also just trying to have a laugh and, you know, do some cool, get some fun experiences with the boys, with the mates in ranked, then I think that's a important thing to remember as well. That Rocket League is a game, and a lot of people sometimes get stuck in this cycle where they've gone into the improvement path, have actually improved a lot, but haven't enjoyed any of it. They've you know, ranked up a bunch, but they've hated every minute of it. So they're just like, oh, this sucks. Like Jack said, they're playing a bunch of ones because some streamer told them to, or some player told them to. They're doing all this training and free playing every day, and it's all just like unenjoyable and a grind, and they don't enjoy it. And then they're going into ranked, they're solo queuing, and they hate their teammates. If you are not enjoying the process, then it's probably better to look for some other routine and try to adapt it in some way. Find out what it is that's annoying you. And so for a lot of people, it's just playing with random teammates. It could just be so frustrating. And if you are one of those people, try and find someone that you like playing the game with, and then you can improve together. If you both want to get better, you can improve together. You can try to rank up together. That's a really fun experience for a lot of people who are more trying to improve recreationally. You're not trying to go pro or anything. They, you know, don't need to worry about ones and all of the warm-ups and everything. If you're on limited time, just if you want to play ranked, just get stuck in. Just go. If your main objective is just to have some fun with your friends playing Rocket League, playing a video game, I mean, don't worry about warming up and all the training and all everything else outside of the game. Just get stuck into the game, and you can improve in the game. It may not be as optimal in every instance, but you definitely can make big improvements while just simply playing.
Absolutely. I mean, Johnny, like when I was like, you know, playing the game and stuff in school and stuff, I would play it for a few games before school. I loved it that much. I'd play a few games before school, and I didn't have the time to warm up, right? Like I had 20 minutes, right, or 10-15 minutes. So I just play a ones game, or two ones games, couple ones games, and I'd be watching Squishy on my iPad or something in front of me. I was sat on my bed. I'd be playing on the my TV, like on my PS4 hooked up to the TV. I'd be watching Squishy at the same time. So like I'd be maximizing the growth.
You're learning and you're practicing.
I'm not kidding. I would do that every single day. Every single day I would do it. So you don't have to warm up. You can just jump into it. But if I had 2 hours, that's how personally I would spend it.
Alright guys, that is it for today's video. Those are all the questions that we've got time for, but we do have more, so if you like this kind of video, let us know. We can make another one. And if you are a member of the course, look out for the next time that we ask for questions, because we'll probably do another one of these at some point. Like I said in the previous video, this isn't necessarily something that we've got any kind of schedule with. We just did it because we remembered, but maybe we should do them more often, and we will prioritize members' questions whenever we do one of these videos. So just another little bonus for you to consider for those of you who are thinking about buying the course.
Absolutely, guys. Go and check it out at thenextrank.com. If you enjoy anything we've had to say in this video, then it's all similar stuff. We don't really change our personality. It's a lot of in-depth. Yeah, but I do think it's in depth. Maybe too much, but if you guys, waffle. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you did, then check out the course at thenextrank.com. Let us know in the comments if you do enjoy our answers to these questions. If you disagree with anything, give us your take, because everyone can learn from everyone else in the comments below. Guys, check out all of our other videos on the channel, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.